yourself on an island. You'd have to squint really hard. So many ideas, so many clues. You may have noticed that my mind is a cauldron, teeming with thoughts. I found myself reviewing the last few weeks. It all started when I received a strange package in the mail. You know, the plain brown paper kind. What it contained piqued my curiosity. A letter asking for my help. A third-class ticket to India. Enough cash to keep the rent paid while I was gone. And a key. Not a key to a locker or a briefcase, but a skeleton key large enough to fit the front gate of San Quentin. Huh? Look at that. Attached to the key is a red ribbon with 3 words on it. Only the robin knows. I had heard of only the shadow knows, but this one left me scratching my head a bit. So, here I am on the dark, lonely street. Aha! I'm somewhere on the coast of India. Ooh, gotcha! I'm looking for clues. Now, the secret, according to the letter, surrounds a young girl named Mary Lennox. Hands up! Get on! Ha! Nothing. I didn't find nothing. I guess this might be one of those wild goose chases. I've been on this case for 2 weeks already and no luck. The letter that offered me the job said there was a secret needing uncovered, then something about a garden. I got news for you. Everything in India is a mysterious secret, and I have not seen a garden. I don't know anyone, and no one knows me. Not even you. I'm sorry about that, but we're on a need-to-know basis in detective work here. I guess I can trust you. My name is Detective Dell, Private Ear. Detective Dell, Private Nose. Smelly about that. Can't you see what I'm trying to say here? Help me out, please. Detective Dell, Private Eye. Private Eye. Thank you. Hey, keep that up. You might be some detectives yourselves one day. Let's get back. I was looking for a young girl named Mary Lennox. I was hired to see that she made it to her Uncle Archibald Craven's household in England. You see, the poor girl's parents passed away of cholera, and her uncle and his son are her only remaining relatives. Someone came walking down the pier. There were 2 of them, one taller than the other in the native clothes of India. The other fit the description of one Mary Lennox. I had been warned of Mistress Mary's temper, and evidently there was no exaggeration. She reminded me of a bomb, one with the short fuse. She moved with a purpose. Her companion was just along for the ride. I decided I would listen a minute before I made my presence known.
Aya, what's holding up her transport? My uncle's expecting me on time.
Time is passing like a cool summer breeze. You can partake of it, but push against it. It matters little to the breeze.
Please don't say that. You know it makes me quite contrary.
Mary, quite contrary. A clue?
Choose the path you walk, and walk the path you choose.
I told you not to say that, and you continue anyway. And where's my ride?
As I said, she had a temper. I figured she had a reason, so I thought I'd listen a bit longer.
I've been meaning to ask you something.
What is it, Mary?
Lately, I've been having dreams. Dreams about a place that's calling to me.
time to cut the cloak and dagger bit and come out of hiding. Miss Lennox, hey, Detective Dell, private eye at your service. I believe I am to escort you to England and deposit you at your Uncle Archibald's house as soon as possible.
Well, you're late, and next time be more prompt. Here's the cat and literally the fortune.
She lost no time getting to the point. She said her goodbyes to her faithful Aya, a friend that had been with her through the years. Many fond memories surround the face of Aya.
Bye.
See, Steve, the bottom here. May the wave of sadness wash away.
She sat on the pier, watching the gulls cry and thinking her own thoughts. Miss Lennox was clutching an old photograph. When I asked her about it, she volunteered it was a picture of her Uncle Archibald Craven's household. The family looked quite stiff, almost as stiff as the paper in the photo. There was an air of sadness, too. I could identify some of the people as house staff, and some who must have worked outside for us. They were untidy. It looked as if a good washing was in order. It occurred to me Mary might identify the people. I asked her to point out her uncle, and she graciously replied,
Mind your own business.
possibly we should go straight to the photo for our information. Now, if I'm not mistaken, all of you belong to the household of Miss Wait, ma'am? I wonder would you mind introducing yourselves?
Well, I should say not. I've been dying to say a few words. I keep things in the house in tip-top shape. Nothing shy about my work. Couldn't imagine a better place to work. Unless you're in a place where people are a bit happier. You see all this moving around? Martha, that's enough of that. Sorry, Miss Medlock. Well, I should go. And do you think the master of the house should go first? No, Mrs. Medlock. I'm far too clumsy. Not anyone right now.
Pardon me, but I have a feeling we ought to start at the bottom and work our way up. It seems to me I'm the best dish this heard. I'd rather not do much at all, but these two young ones are mine. This is Vivian, and let me tell you, this really get together. And Martha, who you've already met, she talks us.
Really? I wonder where she gets it.
Yes, I'm thinking hello. I take care of the grounds, making sure the plants and animals are well cared for.
It's my job. No, it's my joy to help things grow.
I think I should go next because I have planting to do. I'm Ben Weatherstaff, the gardener. Gardening is good work, so I don't know who you are calling me dirty. Dirt is clean, so I'm one of the cleanest people you'll ever meet. Now, I'm off to go plant my daisy. Come on, my little petunia. I'm not a petunia, I'm a daisy. I know, this is getting my seal. Come on, no, come on, I'm a daisy. Hold on there, where do you think you're going? I'm off to plant my little cabbage. I'm not a cabbage, I'm a daisy. You can't just walk out of the photograph. If I have to stay here, then you do too. I'm calling Craven his son.
I'm Dr. Craven, Archibald's brother and Colin's uncle. I spend a good deal of my time tending to my nephew's illness, even though I don't know what's wrong.
And now, finally, it's your turn, Master Craven. I give you the big cheese. Master Archibald Craven, owner of Missoula Manor, and Mary Alexa's uncle! No, I can't. Not just now. Maybe later.
Sometimes it's best to go straight to the source, even if it is just a photo. I don't know about you, but that clears it up for me. Well, Mary put away the photo, and we just waited till I got a little bit antsy, when all of a sudden, a bilge-rat of a man approached us and validated our tickets.
All aboard for England?
That's 2 tickets. Now, for a while, we just enjoyed the fresh sea air on deck. But before long, we went to seek out our lodging. So far, the voyage had proven pretty uneventful until we were infested by some enormous bugs who insisted on sharing our lodging, and they helped themselves to our food.
What do you have? Raisins? A crab apple.
Oh, wait.
I have peanut butter and jelly.
A fly.
Yeah.
one to visit our relatives.
You don't expect us to crawl there, do you?
No, but I don't know why you have to ride with us and eat our food.
We're just cleaning up little bits dropped on the floor. You know that's littering. You really mustn't litter. Oh well, it's what we do in the way we fit into the nature of things. You like us if you got to know us. We rock.
Mary, what do you think of that? You pass?
I'll pass on that. There you go. Stereotyping us. Huh. I feel like you could step on us.
Walk all over us, why don't you?
You have to be so graphic. We really do rock, you know.
Well, we may be bugs, but we're fun because we're a rock band. You know, break guys, with music.
Our theme song.
We're a group of giant bugs. Please don't scream or make us sing. We're quite friendly, you can see. May look fierce, but no one's mean. Nice to meet you, please don't fret. Just 'cause we seem weird or strange. Get to know us, you may find. Suddenly your mind may change 'cause we're bugs. Get to know us better. We're the bugs. Not an island or setter. We're the bugs. No equals in your sweater. We're the B-U-G-S bugs. R-O-C-K-rock. Bugs rock. We're the bugs rock. Just 'cause I'm a bug. We're the bugs rock. Doesn't mean I'm a bug out. We're the bugs rock. We're the We're the bugs. B-U-G-S bugs. R-O-C-K-rock. Bugs rock. We're the
How much longer? I can't stand it. I'm not staying around these awful bugs. Hey, come back. We're just getting started.
Remember, B-U-G-S-R-O-C-K. Bugs rock. Got the line?
We left the bugs to our lunch, and we thought that we would check up on our journey's progress so far. Now, the captain was an interesting type. Also, reminded me of a bilge rat. Feeling, I suppose. We had made great time. Luckily, the captain was a seafaring machine and had plotted the quickest course. When I asked him how, he did it. He said,
I followed the geese.
You mean to tell me we are following ducks across the Atlantic?
Not ducks. Geese. Follow us, eh? We're migrating to the great white north.
Do we have time to stop?
We'd be happy to have your company.
This boat's going north like we do every year, eh?
Might as rest while we're talking.
Oh, my aching fin feathers.
Gotta stretch those old flipper feet.
You folks seem nice. Hey, maybe there's time to sing a song.
What should we sing?
Christmas is coming. The goose is getting fat.
No, I don't think so.
Song.
are there any games you like to play?
How about Duck Duck Goose? Duck, 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 duck.
I'll cheer you. Oh man, that's not really a song, is it?
Go tell Aunt Rudy the old gray goose is dead. That song's too sad, eh?
of sunny days. Mostly, I'll give you those little toys that you get at the store that come out of the machine in a bubble, and you open them up and you're surprised when you find out the toys are cheap and don't do anything anyway.
Oh, you were doing so well! Until you got off track.
You left on the most important line.
The line about us.
And honking. Do you remember? Rhymes us, please.
Geese, eh?
Oh yeah.
Honking you geese! Honk, honk, honk!
Remember that next time.
Not too bad for a first time, though. We best move our tail feathers. Yeah, it's about time to go. Lampo!
We're there.
Honk, honk, honk. Okay, geese, take off, eh?
Last, the coast of England.
Where's my Uncle Archibald?
Over here, miss.
He had the look of a farm worker, but his eyes were clear and cool. Not at all what I expected Uncle Archibald to look like. I don't recognize him from the photo, do you?
You're not Uncle Archibald.
No, miss. Your uncle sent me here to meet you. That is, if your name is Mary Lennox.
Yes, I am Mary Lynn.
Detective Dell, Private Eye.
Master Craven is working, so he asked me to walk you home.
Walk? I'm expected to walk with all this luggage?
No, indeed, miss. We'll have plenty of help once we reach the moors.
What are you doing?
See that robin over there?
Yeah, so?
I was just telling that robin to go ahead of us and line up some help.
Now, hold on a minute.
I don't believe for a minute that you can play a little whistle or have a robin or any robin you say.
Oh, but I can. Watch this. I will have Robin Redbreast land at your feet.
Well, I never.
That was a fluke.
Do you want him to sit on your head?
Okay, I believe you. The robin does what you say. But what's with the whistle? Every other animal seems to speak English.
Oh, I speak English. I just like it when Dickens speaks Robin.
This lad had the look of Peter Pan and an elf mixed together. I didn't know the secret to the whistle, but I was determined to stay on the case until I did.
Now off you go, Robin Redbreast. We'll follow after.
Now, the road to the house, was even enough, but as we got closer to the moors, a clue presented itself. We started seeing acorns littering the road. As we progressed, they seemed to be spelling something. We stopped to read the message. Sroom et hot emo clue. That can't be right. I immediately reached for my notepad, knowing that it could take months to decipher the code contained in this cryptic and mysterious message of acorns. This was the kind of puzzle only a trained private investigator using mental leaps of logic could hope to solve.
Welcome to the woods.
How fiendishly clever of them to turn it upside down like that. Whoever thought of that must be very counterintuitive indeed.
Oh, that would be my friends the squirrels. Come out, little ones.
How do you know it was us? Was it the handwriting?
No, it was because he used acorns to read the message. Not everyone does that.
I told you we should use blueberries. That was after you suggested using raindrops, so I quit listening.
It was an interesting group of animals. They all seemed to think of Dickens as part of the family. You see, there were squirrels, foxes, sheep, a crow, and a robin. I didn't know what to think. The squirrels were squirrely. The foxes were foxy. The sheep were sheepish. And the crow was, crow-like.
Oh, yeah. So you're private.
Do you like crossword puzzles? They help us stay strong.
Any help with this? Pretty cracky. I don't think Detective Dell needs any help.
you weren't to shut it. You know, the type that stays in all day long, not coming out until they move to the next place? Just to stay inside all day? You need to wake up and smell the roses.
We can help. Please, I'd rather not.
See the brook and the trees, away feel the breeze. When the air not so hot, there's hornets of flies. So much to see the flora and fauna, a rose and a mouse. Come on, get out of the house, so life don't waste time. It's right outside your door. So there's no day like today. There's no day like today. You and I see inside. So that is why I say no day like today. Let's unwrap the next bend. Let's see a new friend. We're the same as the sky, the earth, you and I. Asking you to try to remember this book is your home. Plenty of those miles to run. So life don't waste time. It's right outside your door. So there's no day like today. There's no day like today. You and I see and smile. So that is why I say no day like today. No day like today. No day like today. No day like today. No day like today.
I get it already. There's no day like today. And we should go out and enjoy the world when we have it. But it's getting dark and I want to go home before there's no day like tomorrow.
As evening approached, we found ourselves traveling through a viney part on the far side of the moors. Now, we weren't too far from Amana, when all of a sudden a burning bug came careening through the vines and landed at our feet. Stand back! Shh. There's no telling when it might flame up again.
I take it you don't have fireflies where you come from.
Wait, there it goes again. Oh, there it goes. Oh, help me!
Don't be so silly. It's just a bug. Excuse me? I was wondering if I could put you in a bottle to light our way. Well, that'd have to be awfully fun.
What Mary means to say is, would you and your friends mind lighting the way to her house? Your help would mean many less scrapes, trips, and bruises.
Well, if you put it like that, we'd love to. I'll call up my firefight family and friends with our favorite song. Go Fly Pig! Firefly, firefly, family and friends, it's right, we know what to do. Fireflies fill the air, fireflies everywhere, fireflies light the darkness, fireflies light the hours. No one knows what fireflies is. Fireflies, fireflies, family and friends, we know what to do. Show you
So the fire fleas.
Fireflies!
Fireflies showed the way to the manor in Miss Lennox's daily home. The vines gave way to a stony road that led to the door of an impressive estate. The squirrels, foxes, sheep, crow, and robin said their goodbyes as we approached the house.
Goodbye!
The fireflies did a victory lap and headed back to the moors. Miss Lennox didn't say a word. Her tough exterior was firmly in place as Dickon rang the bell. Something strangely familiar about that doorbell, huh? A clue!
Oh, you're finally home. You must be married. And who is this with you? I'll go run and get the housekeeper, Miss Miller. She's been preparing for your arrival all day. Did I say please to meet you? It will be so grand having you lonely in the house. Martha, can you stop all your gabbering and go fetch Miss Medlock? We've been walking for hours and it's getting cold out. There she is, ma'am. Mary Lennox, all in one piece of everything. Now, I want to hear all about your voyage to India. While we're on the subject, all about India. Have you met any nice friends in your travels? Martha, enough of that. There'll be time for that later. Shall I Miss Medlock? Now, first things first. Let's get you comfortable in bed now. And your colleague is?
This here was the person that was hired to bring Mary Lennox back from India, called something I.
Did you say I? That's a strange name.
No, it's Detective Dell, Private Eye.
Okay, Mr. I. American, aren't you? That explains a lot. Now, it's time for some introduction.
Yes, we're acquainted. That is our doctor. Yes, he's your You'll fit right in here, I'm sure you'll agree. Can we please wind this up? It's taking longer than the whole trip from India.
What was that?
Yeah, what was that?
What was what?
The mysterious wailing sound coming from the house?
That's exactly what it was, the house. Settling. Now, let's get you to your room.
Those moans coming from the house were so strange and eerie, as if haunted. Look, I've heard some pretty strange things during my years in this business, but none as creepy as that wailing sound. I decided to make a note to myself and mark the time. See, if I were to hear the sound again at some future point, I could subtract the first time from the second time, and then I would know how much time had passed. Pretty valuable information, don't you think? You don't know what small detail is going to be important later on? Look, let's just get back to this. The next morning, Misselthwaite Manor was a whir of activity. I was determined to get to the bottom of this secret by honing the time-honored skill of spying on folks. What'd you expect? I'm a private eye.
Hey, where are we?
In England.
I know that, but where in England? I don't know. Does it matter?
Hey, look me, I have a new name for a band of bugs. What am I?
I have no idea. It's pretty weird.
Mom.
Yes.
Okay. Sounds like
you that all the time?
What was that I would say each morning?
Chocolate and food was really good. Don't leave where it's just not offered.
Oh yeah, that's always true. Crazy.
Pick that up. Stewardship, remember? Now where was I? Oh yes, maybe now you can know it's meeting.
Ow, ow, ow. I don't care what it means.
Good morning, Master Craven, Dr. Craven. And you, Mrs. Nuttall.
Is my niece awake yet?
Here's the text. Yes, it's long time. I'm very busy. Is there anything you require?
Well, a ride from the dock would have been nice.
He would have been there if he could. His work takes him away quite often. Enough about us. What about you? I understand your parents died in court. Sorry. Do you have any pain, fevers, coughing I should know about?
No, 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 and no. I require nothing. And I've done quite well on my own.
You look so much like your mother.
Come on, Dickon, we are not there. Hold on to your horses. I'll be right back. Mary, would you come and help? We could use a man. Why would I?
Oh, come on. Don't be such a sour Susie.
Come on, Mary. Come on, Mary, let's go. I have something to do.
I'll be all right, Dickon. I'll go to the dishes ready. Promise you'll come?
Yes, I promise.
She looks so like your mother.
Not to mention that white lily.
I know.
Archibald, have you seen Colin this morning?
No, I'm afraid I haven't time tonight. I will check on him tonight.
I was encouraged to see Mary's Uncle Archibald finally, but the reception he gave Mary seemed strange and sad. Dickon had mentioned he'd been in mourning ever since his wife died, but that was many years ago. And where was this Colin, his son, that Dr. Craven spoke of?
Who are you? None of your business. Who let you in here? No one. I walked in myself. My name is Mary. My name is Mary Lennox. Is that supposed to impress me? Why do you moan so? Because I'm sick, 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 sick. Leave me. All right, I'll leave you. I'll come back tonight. Go!
Moans coming from the house were from Colin, Archibald's son. He was sick, weak, and unhappy in every way. Dr. Craven tried his best to cure him, but nothing seemed to work. It's as if the boy had given up. Kind of reminds me of his father. There are many secrets in this house, I think. Every answer seems to generate more questions. But now, to find Mary and Dickon.
I'll be gone.
Hey, Ben, where is Mary?
Over there. Dickon just brought her down from the house. It seems that every time I need some help, Dickon goes and plays with his friend from the wars. I'll tell you, it's a little strange when he talks to animals. Don't you think someone would cheer me up?
Thanks, Ben. Martha, Dickon, hello. Well, Mary, what's going on?
We thought we'd catch up on the news. Come on, we're just getting started planting. Kenzie.
I think I'll head back to the house.
Wait, Mary, stay. Please stay.
All right, maybe a little while.
Wait, you hear that? It sounds like your mom. Martha and Dickon, both your mom.
Martha, have her flashes. We have news. You won't believe it's the most amazing things happened in the wars in years.
What? What is it?
What? What? We never found them. They're still exotic. Who? What do you mean who? You were there. What are you talking about?
Yeah, she's right. I can't follow what you're talking about. Did I miss something?
Did you say follow? They're all talk and talk. Can they talk? They can talk of Bruce Rico and us. This thing a lot from the
That's all? What about it? That's all?
Just fine.
And it couldn't be a nicer day.
Sometimes you need to step back and take it all in.
Is it a
It's
great
a great day to be alive.
What do you mean it's a great day to be alive? It's just like any other day. Oh, Mary, you can't mean that.
It's a fabulous day.
It's a glorious day. Remember, it makes me happy all the way through. Yep, it's a humdinger.
Makes me want to sing.
Sure. Fine. No argument from us. Why this day is better than cheese whiz, fresh gray, fresh water. We're honking really loud and happy.
Quiet.
Time real fast.
Fly in a big V
With all your best friends. I agree. Today's the day to celebrate. Celebrate life.
Celebrate life.
I still don't get it. No holiday, no point. Oh, there is a point. The point is you're here.
So you might as well make the most of it.
Enjoy, friends.
Enjoy food.
Enjoy resting. Enjoy doing.
Enjoy going.
Enjoy it all.
Enjoy life.
All right, East, take off, eh?
Mary, wasn't that easy?
That's easy to say, but life has a dark side. I've seen it. I've lived it. Does that mean it has to make you all dark and sad?
I hadn't thought about it quite like that before. You know, Mary had had some awful experiences in her young life. Her parents, gone. Her life in India, gone. Here she was in a strange place, everything new and unfamiliar. She was welcomed by some, but she was shunned by her uncle. But still, Dickon is right. This doesn't have to control her. She has choices. What Mary does with this thought can change her whole life.
What did you say? You have a choice.
That's the key.
Well said, Robin. It is the key. Key.
With her? Following?
I'm following you. What do you say, Mary? I'm thinking, Key.
Find the key, find the key, find the key, find the key.
I thought you had checked the pockets.
I don't have pockets.
Me neither.
No.
We didn't need a real key. Oh yeah, we did.
Didn't I? You did? Only the robin knows. Only the robin knows. Only the robin knows about.
The key! I have the key. It came to me and I forgot all about it. Hey, what does this mean?
Only the rabbit knows. Strange.
What do you think it means?
I don't know, but we should follow its advice and ask the robin. Let's ask the robin.
Well, it's about time. The key is to a secret place that has been waiting for you.
I love a mystery!
I think I know this place. Come on.
Wait, this is for you. You don't want it.
Oh boy!
This way.
he didn't notice that our guest of honor, Mary, was not with us. The robin had taken her to another place. This place spoke to Mary in ways that were wonderful.
Here, use the key now! I'm scared! What's inside? Nothing that will harm you!
dark, unhealthy garden that had been neglected for many years. Why? Had it been forgotten? It kind of reminds me of the whole household. Cold, unhealthy, sad, heartbroken. I imagine this was the secret spoken of in the letter. Oh, how mysterious. I found myself wondering what Mary would do next.
I don't want any tea. I hate tea. Leave me alone. Yes, ring the bell if you need anything, Master Colin. I won't. Now leave.
There you are, Colin. How have you been feeling this evening?
Worse. Much worse.
Taking your medicine?
Yes, of course I have, but it doesn't do anything. Where's my father? I want to talk to my father.
And you know his work is important.
Yes, but I haven't seen him for days. He doesn't care that I'm sick.
Yes, indeed. You should know better than that. Now take your medicine and I'll come check on you tomorrow.
Colin, can I come in? Mary, is that you? Where have you been? I've been very sick. I've been to the secret place and I want to meet you there. You know, I can't walk very well. How do you know? You haven't been out of bed in months. About high time you did. I'll be here tomorrow. Be ready.
Colin's curiosity got the better of him, for in the morning he was dressed and as ready as possible. Mary arrived promptly and spirited him out of the house. Mary introduced all her other friends in the garden to Colin, and soon he started to really enjoy life, maybe for the first time. All the pieces hit the front. All the pieces were starting to make sense. Every rock, every tree, every bird has its place, and so do we. Mary was learning to care for the land, and it will care for you. Care for others, and they in turn will care for you. Mary came to visit Colin often. Garden. See ya. Mary came to visit Colin often, and soon they became the best of friends. They talked about their books and their favorite memories, and they laughed and played.
You're it. Come on, Mary. Hey!
Now Colin's health came back in a flood, almost as if a dam had broken. Soon he was running and jumping with the rest of the gang.
I need a rest. Me too.
They worked hard too. They pruned and planted until new life began to grow again. Mary and Colin knew if they kept at it, they would see the day when blossoms and fruit would again fill the garden. Kind of reminds me of how their friendship blossomed. Finally, Colin had someone who understood his loss, his loneliness, for Mary had the same feelings too. So it was that day by day they played and worked in the garden until new life ignited and flared up with unexpected intensity.
I'm so glad you made it back to Missoula. You've been gone for months.
Where's Colin? I went to see him, but he wasn't in his room.
I've heard Meredith's been taking him out for fresh air.
Do you think that's wise? What if he caught a chill? Have you seen Colin? Yes, I believe he's by the old garden. Come with me. I may need your help to carry him back to his room.
Archibald had been gone for so long that he did not even know of the changes that were happening in his son. Worry was evident as he made his way through the halls of the large manor, past all the rooms and all the way down to the old forgotten garden. Now, to his surprise, he walked into He walked into a wonderful, magical place. He arrived just in time to see the garden begin to blossom.
He
Director, Mr. Christopher Martin.
To the Secret Garden. I had the pleasure of working with one amazing assistant director this week. He's helped with some of the scene changes that you saw. He helped get them ready to come on stage, and he's been a huge help. His name is Lloyd Warren. Come on out. I'd also like to give a thank you to our wonderful accompanist, Sean Sayo. Korematsu PTO and the Korematsu Elementary School and the entire staff and community here at Korematsu Elementary. Thank you. Thank you. Also, another huge thank you to Ashley Bergdorf, who took care of arranging the details for this week. So we are the Missoula Children's Theater out of Missoula, Montana. For those of you who are unfamiliar with MCT, for over 45 years, this international tour project has sent teams just like me and Jacob to all 50 states and 17 different countries. For those of you who don't know, these students auditioned just on Monday, and in 5 days' time, they learned all the songs, the dances, the words, and it's quite amazing. So let's give them another round.